Yeah.
Today's guest went from being the fourth employee at a small roofing company to becoming its CEO, leading it into the Inc. 5000 list and steering it through nearly a decade of sustained growth. She's built systems, developed leaders from within, and is helping redefine what leadership looks like in the trades. She's also a mother of 6 in a blended family and an advocate for women stepping confidently into leadership. Please welcome Brie Reis, CEO of Elite Roofing and Solar. Brie, welcome.
Thank you so much, Chris. What an awesome opening. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about journey and leadership and kind of see what you think about that. You started as an admin in
hmm
2010 and now you're CEO. What were, the turning points that shaped that journey for you?
Yeah, there were so many little areas that shifted it. I think the number one thing was that our business has grown 30% year over year, which created a lot of opportunity inside the business. And so, um, I think some of the big things have been, and this is still even what I tell my kids today. I'm like, whatever you're doing, like work harder than everybody next to you. And I think especially when you're young, it actually doesn't take, like, that's not you know you're still not working that hard. Like, that's still like you're giving 110%. Like, just work harder than everybody around you. And I think that that's something that's come really naturally to me. Is I'm a really, really hard worker. I'm really big on action, and I don't sit on things very long. I'm super decisive. um, and so I just like to push everything around me forward. um, and then of course there's the blessing and the grace side of that. And I say most of us women that are in the trades got here because of a man that we love. Okay. Whether
Mm.
that be a brother or a father or a husband or a cousin, like most of us landed in the trades in a lot of instances because of a man that we loved. And in my instance, my business partner is my brother. And so he started the company, he brought me on as an admin. And so, um, I think he um, naturally, just through, familiar, like family familiarity, saw something in me that maybe I didn't even see in myself. And he kept pushing me into, like, when he named me CEO, he later told me, I was like, oh my gosh, I was not ready for that. He's like, I know you weren't ready for it. He's like, that's why I did it. I knew you'd step up into it. But there was 6 months, of after he had named me CEO that I was just like I've never dealt with anxiety. It's just not really my space. But for 6 months, those first 6 months after he made me CEO, I was like spiraling. Like, why am I here? I shouldn't be here. I am not prepared for this. As a new feeling, because I usually walk into everything like really, really wanting to grab the horn by the bull by the horns. But in this scenario, I still did that, but it was very scary for me. That is a great side of that, that I've been able to work with my brother through these years.
Oh, that's amazing. I love how you describe that. And I think it's so true when we have big opportunities in front of us, like being able to step up into it and in your case having a loving relationship where someone was willing to give you that opportunity and saw it in you before you saw it in yourself. Looks like a great decision was made because of that growth you're talking about. 30% year over year. We're gonna have to definitely dig into that more. Um,
Yeah.
what lessons did you learn about scaling, I guess, from those early years? What kind of things did you implement to say, okay, here's the track that we want to go on? Like, what was it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're in the Denver market, which is considered Hail Valley. And so when we started roofing, we got storm after storm after storm, year over year over year. Uh, yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yes. Yeah. I know it's crazy. It was like, do you pray for hail? I'm like, yeah, we pray for hail. And, it's like, we're like, please hail and, don't hurt anybody, but we do need it
Right.
to hail. So,
Right. Right.
it did, and, for the up until, like, 2019, actually, from, 2010 when we, changed the business over. We were finishing basements before that, but when we changed over to roofing only, to 2019, we really got a hailstorm year over year. There were, like, a few dry years in there, but pretty much year over year, so that pushed it. Uh we had a really, really good marketing team from the beginning. We built a fantastic sales team from the beginning. We had, I think a lot of businesses start with no infrastructure, right? And so, um, Randy and I's mom actually was our office manager from the beginning, and she created a lot of structure for us. And so I think that um, that was a really, really great foundation where a lot of businesses maybe would have gone in. This is a silly example, but we started job costing from the beginning. We have a consulting business now where we help other roofing companies run their businesses, kind of fractional CFO-ish, to just starting companies that just need some help off the ground. And so I get to see into those
Specific to
businesses
roofing, you're saying. Is that
specific
right?
to roofing. Yeah, it's called the
Got it.
Roofing Academy.
Ah, okay. The Roofing
So it's
Academy.
very
Awesome.
specific to that, yeah. So we
Love
get
it.
to look in and under the hood, and a lot of them just don't know, and so, like, we're job costing from the very beginning, and I look into these businesses now as we step in and, like, nobody's job costing, and it's just like, "Oh, well, we didn't even know we couldn't do that." We didn't know that was an option, so it's just like from the jump off, we really started doing things, in correctness. So,
Yeah.
that rolled
Well,
downhill for us.
yeah, that's wonderful. Okay. And I know you've mentored people into leadership roles as well. What's really your philosophy on growing talent from within?
I think a lot of it stems from what my brother saw in me, and I started as an admin and I moved into a CEO. And so when I started as an admin, I had no idea what I was good at. I was 23 years old, super young, kind of a wild past. And so that's been my purpose really in this is to take women that don't really know what their geniuses are, expose those geniuses in them, and then to water the crap out of it. And so it's been really, really fulfilling. And it's my favorite part of my job is to watch somebody come in from, I think my finance manager, for example, she's been with me 9 years. She started as not even an admin, as the receptionist. We didn't even have a computer for her. Literally, she just had a phone, like a handheld phone that she like answered and like would run around the office. We were so busy when we hired her. It's just like, here, just somebody needs to answer the phone, or help our admin answer the phone. And so, and now she's my finance manager. So it's just like, she knows more about bookkeeping than I do. It's absolutely my purpose. And I think Randy and Cody and my would follow that same trend. We have wild retention. Our sales team, most of our sales team have been with us 8 to 10 years.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is actually extraordinary to have
Hmm.
that kind of retention on a sales team specifically, right?
Yeah. And
That's
it's because we
great.
empower them. We really do give them a lot of leeway, a lot of trust, a lot of room to fail, and then a lot of room to grow. And then we're very gracious.
Mhm.
Because if you come
Yeah.
in from a development mindset and then you expect your staff to not make any mistakes, you lose your power, your leverage to grow them. Like that's how you grow is through error. Those are our best lessons.
I love that philosophy. There's some nuggets right there. Um, let's talk industry trends and some challenges. Like roofing is obviously a competitive space. It's often commoditized. From your perspective, what's changing in the market right now?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's a lot of threats to our market right now, but then there's a lot of opportunity as well. I would say, we talked about hail, and so hail is tied to insurance. and we're just a smaller fish than a bunch of insurance companies are. And I think that both sides have made a lot of mistakes over the last 15 years. I think the insurance companies have made some mistakes, but I think contractors have made some mistakes too. And we've had some really bad fish that have hit insurance companies, for example, for items that they didn't do, and they're charging the insurance for it. And so just beating the insurance over the head over and over and over again. And so I think you should do a fair job for a fair price. And when people are dealing with insurance, they have the mindset insurance is crooked, so I'm going to be crooked, and that's created a scenario where we're in a tug of war a little bit with insurance, and insurance is trying to figure out how to get away from roofing. So for example, they're going to a percentage deductibles, so you don't have on hail winds and probably hurricanes, so you don't have like a $2,000 deductible on as a copay anymore. You have a percentage copay that's going to be like 2% of your home value. So it's much harder for people to just say, yeah, let's get my roof done because it's only going to cost me $2,000. It's like, no, it's going to cost me $5,000, $6,000. Really, really large homes, we've seen deductibles, $20,000, $30,000 deductibles on the home. So that's going to create some challenge for us, especially in the current economic state where people don't have a lot of additional extra income. So that's a
Yeah.
threat.
Yeah. I was gonna say too, like I know where I'm at in Utah,
Mm,
there are some insurers, and I'm not sure how widespread it is, but they're using, aerial photos and drones to look at roofs. And when it comes up to renewal time, they say, hey, your roof is looking kind of shoddy. I don't know how they said exactly, but
yeah.
your roof is
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
a
yeah.
little weird. So we're going to actually take away certain coverages from your policy until you like go ahead and upgrade that. And this is
Mhm,
normal wear and tear, so it's going to be on you. Kind of like passing it over to the consumer quite a bit.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. That's a great example to the threat that I'm referring to. But they're doing other things
Yeah.
too, and they're a
Mm,
big fish. And I'm not saying that contractors are wrong and the insurance is right, because that is not my belief by any means at
yeah.
all. But I do believe we beat them too hard over the last 15 years, and we should have been more
Yeah,
reasonable.
there's always going to be some bad actors in every industry that kind of
Yeah.
push the limits and then make people make changes, right?
Mhm.
The I guess one of the things to say too, though, is that in the world of lawsuits, even if you're right, you could still be wrong because the guy with more money can keep putting it in. And when
Yeah.
you talk about big fish and little fish, yeah, they could throw weight around certainly as an insurance company, right?
Yeah, that's 100% accurate. And in a litigious world, you could be totally
Yeah,
right and still be wrong. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
For you, what are some of the things I guess that Elite Roofing and Solar has done to that point? Like, are there better financing options that are becoming available, or like what are some of the solutions I guess on your side?
Yeah, financing has been a huge and I'll say I'm gonna talk industry for a second. Like we've had a
Please.
huge shift in our industry, where before everybody wanted to negotiate with the insurance company on behalf of the client, and we're still doing a lot of that. So don't get me wrong, but there has been a big shift in our industry towards retail again. So it's so funny because 15 years ago when we started into this, that's when the insurance thing was really going crazy, and everybody shifted. They wanted to be an insurance model business. And so now everybody's like, gosh, I don't want to deal with the insurance anymore. And so they want to like shift back to retail market, financing, all of those things. So there has been a play in our industry, a push back towards retail.
So to be clear, you're saying that whereas some businesses were like, hey, the way to pay for a roof and get roofing done in the first place is to go straight through insurance claims and everything like that, versus saying, hey, let's actually get you a new style roof, and the retail model being just sell it to them and give them their
Exactly.
options.
So there may be a claim involved, but the roofing contractor is not stepping in as the mediator and
Got
just
it.
saying, okay, you file a claim on your home. Here's our estimate. Give it to the insurance company and tell them this is what it's going to cost for their roof, as opposed to the homeowner giving us their claim, us reaching out to insurance and negotiating that claim with the insurance company on behalf of the client. So there's still a lot of that happening, and I think there will continue to be. But there is absolutely a shift more just towards retail. Like you may have a claim, but I'm just going to give you an estimate, and you can work that out with your insurance company.
Oh, very good. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, thanks for explaining that. What for you, like as CEO, like what are the biggest challenges for Elite in keeping growth steady year after year? I know we had mentioned the 30%. Like, is that a
Hmm.
sustainable number? Is it like, hey man, we hit it hard and got some great opportunities, some great storms in there, and but like, what does steady growth look like for you?
Yeah, yeah. So after those first several years of that, we had 4 years of drought, so we had no hail. So
Oh
we
man,
really learned to pivot, and that's where that elite roofing and solar. Okay,
and
that's
solar
new
came in.
and solar. Yep,
Nice.
came in the last 5 years, and that is what we do. We push into our retail, and that's what we continue our conversations around. We want to build a sustainable retail business that we can maintain our current staff, so on and so forth, with no hail at all. And then in the years we get hail, it's just frosting on the cake. Those are the years that we're going to scale up really, really high. We'll probably double our revenue, things like that. But we aren't reliant on it. And so that's what those 4 years of drought taught us is like you can't be reliant on the storm. Like you have to build a sustainable business that it doesn't have a variable that is completely outside of your control.
Oh, I love that. Lessons learned from being in the storm, so to speak, right? You have
Hmm.
like, hey, you know what? We're not afraid of retail. We're going to start doing retail. And then who was like in the room when you're like, how about solar? Or we like, how long was
Yeah.
that conversation happening before you're like, are you serious? Because
Yeah.
it seems
Yeah.
like
So
such
I'm,
a natural thing where you're like, guys, actually having roofers who know how to roof it, they're safe up there. They know what they're doing. They're probably better off than a company just being like, hey, let's throw guys up on a roof and put solar in there.
yeah.
That's
Yeah. It,
interesting.
it, it's been a journey. Solar's been a journey for us. When we started solar, the concept that we had was, I don't know if you know, like, I don't know the name of the style, but it's where you basically have a big company that's really recognizable, and then you just come in as a sales force for that company. And then you're just selling it's like ADP. I don't want to drop
Okay.
other. Okay. So they
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
they create a sales force that goes, or this is a company, it's its own entity, and it's a sales force. That's all they do, knock doors, make sales. And then they give those sales, basically sell them over to the main company that then, and you represent yourself as that
Right, right.
company.
Yeah. You're talking
Yeah.
marketing companies like
Yeah.
1099 crews that go out and canvas.
Correct. So that was the original concept with solar. But we learned really, really fast that solar has a really big issue with fulfillment. And me coming back, like I used to always say this, I grew up in production. Like that's where I spent the bulk of my career. That's where I was at before Randy and Cody moved me over into operations. Like we're a fulfillment company in a lot of ways. Like that is what we do very, very well is we fulfill. We're great with systems. We're great with processes. So we saw a hole in solar that wasn't in sales. Many, many roofing companies were jumping in on the sales front, but just noticing that the solar was not getting installed for a year and a half.
Right.
Yeah, it's wild,
The
wild
processes
things.
with what
Yes.
engineering and working with cities and
Hmm.
local governments, permits, all that kind of stuff, or what was it mostly? Would you say what took so long?
Yeah, I would say working with local governments has been a really big challenge in the slowdown, but also utility companies getting them to process
Pushback.
in a quick manner because they're the ones that have to turn the system on. So there's a lot of reliant on outside forces, but you have to stay really diligent in that. So the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
And so if you have a jurisdiction that's slow rolling your solar and you're a giant corporation, you might touch that occasionally, you know? The smaller guys, we have the ability to say, okay, touch that every single day. Like call that jurisdiction, figure out what the holdup is, like get them the data that they need. Um, You have to have a master electrician on staff. There's a lot of things you have to do to fulfill for solar, and so that's where we're at now. We've moved completely away from that kind of sales approach, and we've actually the bulk of our revenue right now is coming for DNRs, which detach and resets, which totally makes sense for us because we're a roofing company, and so with really great reputation in our market, and so we've just partnered with a lot of other roofing companies in our market to do to do their detach and resets of their solar systems.
Got it.
So that's
So
kind of what it's like flowed into.
you're saying that these are, when you say detach and resets, we're talking about homes that already have, or homes and commercial buildings that already have solar on them that maybe has a dated system, and you're taking it off and putting on a new one, or
Nope, it's homes that need their roofs replaced.
period. Oh, got it. Got it.
Period.
Got it.
Yeah. So they need the roof replaced. So we'll take off the panels. The roofing company, whatever roofing company, whether that be us or one of our partners, will come in, redo the roof, and then we'll replace the panels once the
Got it.
jurisdiction approves the roof.
Got it. So a
Yeah.
dated roof with current solar on it, and you're taking the solar off and putting it back on after.
Hmm. Yeah.
Got it. Oh,
Yeah.
the interesting side of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
actually not familiar with that. Great.
So we do installs, of course, but that's become it's actually taken over the majority of our revenue. Kind of
Oh wow,
wild. Yeah.
that's great. I mean,
Hmm.
that's kind of the, sounds like you and your team have been really good to see different opportunities, pivot on them, and then double down where you need to.
Yeah. Yeah. We do that well. We don't hold ourselves inside of a box.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
We want to flex with our market. Business has taught us that. The ebbs and flows of business teach you that, or you will close.
Yeah. Yeah, you do have to be, it's kind of like you're on the ocean and you see a big wave coming, and it's like, okay, I can either paddle out to meet it, or I can stay where I am and get totally crushed by it, right?
I'm gonna pivot a little bit here.
Please.
So that is why I think it's important to have women in leadership inside of businesses. And my mom told me this once, and I believe it to be true. I've been married, 13 years now, and I know that's not a super, super long time, but I do believe it to be true. I've been in, male dominated industry for my entire career. And I just think that women have this innate ability to see problems really far out, where men don't normally see them until they're like right here. So having some type of woman in leadership where she can discern what's coming as far as threats go, I think can really, really help in the trades.
Oh
And that doesn't
man.
mean you just lean on your office manager. That doesn't mean you have to make your CEO a female. It's just like who can you put in place that can say, okay, we have a problem coming and we need to get ahead of it.
Yeah, I think he's like described like pretty much every man's wife, right? Like
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
trouble
yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
Mark my words, and you're like, ah, I got this, blah blah blah, boom. I love that. I'm a father. I'm a girl dad. Hashtag girl dad. I've
Woo!
got 3 daughters. They're all teenagers, and I can't wait for them to kind of watch this over and hear some of the things you're saying about it, because I totally I totally agree with you. Um, you need that, and also you need uh women in, like, to hold them in a place where it's like you can, everyone on the team, not just the guys, but everybody has a say at this table. There's no like dumb ideas. It's all good stuff right now.
Hmm.
And having
And
those kind of brainstorming sessions where everyone has an opportunity, whether they're the CEO or down to your middle management, it's like, listen, anyone can be right here.
mhm, mhm. The flip side of that is where I think women need to rely on men's leadership in business is that men have this amazing ability to know when to come off it. Where
Yeah,
women
so
will
explain that.
hold on to something. Um, so say we have an employee we're frustrated with. We'll just like hammer it and hammer it and hammer it, because we're emotionally engaged in it. I have to rely on my partners to tell me, okay, it's time to move on for this one. This one is not, we're not going to solve this one right now. Like maybe see it in another light. Maybe look at it from this angle. Maybe look at it from a sales and marketing angle, where I just want to hammer this one issue. So I have to rely on the men around me to remind me of when to come off it.
I love that. That's that's a very interesting way of putting it. I think that definitely describes some of the differences between, yeah, men and women for sure. All valuable in the workplace, certainly. Certainly valuable in the family. Like maybe not
Yeah.
enough people seeing it's super valuable in the workplace too. Um, a little bit more about industry trends and challenges. Like, tell me about technology adoption. It's transforming the trades. Where do you see the biggest gaps right now, or opportunities even?
Yeah, I think AI is going to make a huge difference in roofing. I mean, obviously, in every industry, AI is going to be an amazing influencer. I'm a little hesitant personally. We are dabbling in it for rethreading. So, going back to old clients, and we have an AI agent reaching out to old clients and seeing if they want solar, things like that. Um, and I'm dabbling in, I have a lot of education. So all of my SOPs are on video. And so I want to take all those videos and create an AI agent where my staff can just put a question in and the AI answer based off of all these SOPs that I've built over 15 years. So that's my next hope for AI in regards to my business. But I think that there is still some gaps um, for a lot of companies in regards to just general technology. We're so far behind. And the old school roofers of the day, as much as I honor and respect all the knowledge they have around roofing, have been really hesitant to dive really, really deep into like CRMs. And we have one client that still likes to do his bookkeeping on a spreadsheet and things like that. And so I think as those old school roofers are moving out, as they're giving their businesses to their kids or they're selling to M&A, whatever it is that they're doing to exit, there is going to be a bigger push in regards to technology. There's still a lot of opportunity out there for software to engage with the roofing industry because we are right at that pivotal point, I think, where most of the old school roofers are really exiting like right now or in the next 10 years. Those of us that came in the last 15, 20 years, we're in it. We're all aerial measurements, we're all CRM, we're all financial, QuickBooks, those sorts of things, company cam, all those things that really support our business, hail trace, like all of those really great technologies that really support roofing. But there's still a huge opportunity for software itself. I see several companies that it's just like, man, you got to get off spreadsheets. They have a use. They do. I use a wonderful spreadsheet, a wonderful master business plan, but all that information comes out of my CRM.
Yeah. No, I love that. My brain was racing from different conversations I've had lately. One of them being a digital marketing agency for the trades, and just talking about the differences in like, hey, how do people find roofing companies? It being, let's say, a quick Google search, and in the how it's been is whether you're a big name business who pays for SEO and things like that to be on the top end of the search on that first page, it'll say on there, hey, this is one of 500 pages, and so you could be at the very, very, very bottom of that.
Mm.
Well, now as people start moving towards maybe 10% of internet searches now are already happening in AI, like a chat GPT, for
Mhm.
example, that's only giving you like 5 to 8 results of potential roofing companies there around you or something.
Right.
And so, or regionally, and it doesn't really rely on the whole, hey, here they are on the map, so they must be the best option. It's like, no, there's actually things you need to start doing to be in front of them like that. Um, you mentioned different areas in sales and marketing and operations. Where do you think the bottlenecks would be for elite roofing in that whole technology adoption side of things? Sounds like you're in front of certain things for sure
Gosh,
with
yeah.
having
I mean,
AI agents.
we are technology, I mean, technology focused. We have been paperless since 2017.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I can't even think. I'm like, honestly, a little bit to the point where I'm like, man, I would love to see. I think I talked about this recently on another podcast, but I would love to see. Right now, I just have to have so many different technologies, and then I got to figure out how to tie them all into each other and make sure they operate smoothly and the same data exists in every system. I'm a really big advocate of that. Like, my systems have to talk to each other. I'm literally not going to use it. So I just want one, you know? And I think that's coming down the pipeline. I think with AI, I've talked to some software guys that are really into AI, like can't sleep at night. Like so
Yeah.
into AI. Like
Yes.
if I take a wink of sleep, I'm gonna be behind the next guy in AI.
I know these
And
guys.
he's like, that's what CRMs are going to be one day. You're just going to talk to the agent and like, hey, tell me what's going on with this client, where they're sitting, how much money they owe, and like it's just the compiling of data and all of that stuff is going to kind of go away eventually. But I mean, right now, that's where my bottlenecks sit. Like, I have to not only adopt multiple softwares, but I have to tie them all out and train them all up, and then make sure they don't break. Like, so
Yeah.
I would love
And they
it.
do
I would
break.
love to limit. They do break. I would love to limit the amount of software I have to have, you know, um, to create a more streamlined process.
Thanks for diving with me into that. Let's talk differentiation and growth a little. Like elite, that's a bold name. How do you make sure that the customer feels that difference?
Yeah. Yeah. So Elite Roofing Solar, we're roofing done right is our tagline. And so I know, and I've gotten some negative feedback when I tell people this. So just hear me out through the whole thing. But like one of our very high values is family. We started as family. Most of our family at some point has worked for the company. I'm not currently, but it's just me and my brother and our brother-in-law now left in the fight. But um we have taken that concept and pushed it forward to our staff, like your family is important. We want to treat each other like family. And yeah, families fight sometimes and we make up and we move forward and we grow. But we've pushed that out to our clients too. And so we just want to treat our clients like family. We want to educate them and we want to treat like we want to do this roof like we would do our mom's roof. And so that just keeps a high level of standard. Like you wouldn't put a bad roof on your mom's house unless you didn't like your mom. And then why would you be doing her roof? And that's the argument I get. Like, what if they don't like their family? And I'm like, yeah, let's talk about a healthy family for a minute. Our
Picture a
value is
healthy
tied
family.
to healthy families. And so that has been amazing for us. We don't door knock. A lot of companies that's their MO. That's how they make a lot of their deals. It's a really, really wise model. It's, very effective for a lot of different industries. And when we jumped into this, we decided we didn't want to be door knockers. We don't want to be like the used car salesman roofers of Denver. We wanted to create a sustainable business um, that cared and has a really great reputation. And that is what we've done. And so the bulk of our business comes from referrals. The bulk of our business comes from referrals. My
Wow.
favorite lead count to look at every year is my repeat customers and my referral leads. And both of those are free.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. I do have um experience on the door knocking side of things and seen very healthy businesses do it. I've also seen um crash and burn type sneaky stuff
Yeah.
and you know it all. It's this big storm just came through in this neighborhood. This is
Yeah.
crazy. Um when you say like referrals, repeat business, like is this focus been in residential, commercial? Like where does that lay for you?
Yeah. So that's primarily in residential has been where that's been really, really big for us. Obviously, with commercial, your goal in commercial is to find some really good, like a general contractor or restoration company. And so you're going to get a ton of repeat business from those relationships that you build, but it's just a much smaller. net. I'm not going to 100 repeat customers on commercial. I mean, that's basically what it is. You build a relationship and then they give you all the work they have from then on out, business to business. So primarily I'm referring to residential.
Got it. Got it. In terms of like percentage, help me understand like the makeup of elite roofing and solar, like residential versus commercial. What do you say the split would be?
Yeah, we're about 70/30.
That's healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, we're about
70
70% residential,
residential. Okay. 30
30%
commercial.
commercial. Yeah.
Very good.
And then our low years or no hail years, that will be about 50/50 because we push it so much harder. And
Yes.
because
On
obviously
the
without hail, our
retail side.
residential numbers come down. Yeah.
hmm
hmm
And as far as revenue from roofing versus revenue from solar, where would you say you're at on that split?
Yeah, we're still tiny on the solar side. I'm really, really proud of it. I think we hit $1 million in revenue last year, so
Awesome.
that's good for us. Not I think we did hit $1 million in revenue last year, so very small percentage of solar
Love
that
it.
we're hoping to grow that.
Let me ask you about personal leadership and vision. I read it. You shared the mantra, walk into every room as if you belong there.
Mhm.
How's that guided you as a leader?
I mean, that's really been, the wind behind me in a lot of ways. And I like to talk about people's geniuses a lot. I mean, I love the book Multipliers and Six Working Geniuses and those things that just like through the gifts of God has given us and they come super, super naturally. I don't even know if the first, 5, 7, 8 years of my career, I realized I was doing that, you
Mm,
know. Um, so that's when I realized the power of it, when I understood what I was actually doing. I'm not walking into the room and saying, oh, there's 3 females here and 10 men, and 2 of them are brown and 12 of them are white. And, like,
right.
I'm not surveying the scene to see how much of a minority I am as I walk into every room. I just don't think like that. I take the conversation to left or to any type of uncomfortable spaces, but I'm mixed. I'm half white and I'm half black. And, some to like in the book, the third choice, he talks about as a mixed man, he identified as being black. And I called my dad and I said, who's my black half is my dad. I said, this mixed man said he identified as being just a black man. And my dad said, most people pick one. And I'm like,
Mm,
why? Why do I have
yeah.
to pick
Why do I
one?
have to?
I have to
Yeah.
pick one. He goes, "You don't
Yeah.
have to." I was like, "Okay, then I'm gonna continue to not."
Yeah. I love that.
We're just people, man. So I think that's been helpful. I think that credibility is really important, and if you keep that front of mind and you walk into a room ready to build your credibility, everybody has to build credibility when they walk into a room. Very few people come in with that credibility already established. And if they do come in with that credibility already established, it's because somebody established it for you. Okay. So for example, I call my brother is he's like my champion. Okay.
hmm hmm
So most rooms I walk into, my brother has already established my credibility. He's just an exhorter. It's his genius. It's what he does. And so I don't have to work quite as hard to do that, but I am going to still, in my mind, I'm going to walk in, I'm going to show you what I know and hope it's what you need. And if it isn't what you need, then I'm in the wrong room, would be the only instance that I'm
Right. Right. Right.
in.
No, I love that. Walk into every room as if you belong there. Go to the side of balancing now. You know, it seems like in this world they'd have you believe like, hey, CEO, you got to choose. Like you're gonna be like 100% workplace leading this thing, or if you're not working, the company's not moving forward. But you're balancing that with a family, a big family even. Can you
Yeah,
speak to
a
that
very big
some?
family. Yeah, yeah. I think that intro you have has some outdated data on it too. We have 8 children.
Oh, goodness,
8 children.
congrats,
So thank
super
you.
mom.
Yeah. So we're a blended family. We have 8 children together. My husband brought in 4, I brought in 2, and we have 2 together.
It's amazing.
30 years between the oldest and the youngest.
The
And the youngest
spread.
is 1.5. Yeah. So We're a little bit upside down, and so I'm gonna take 0 credit here because, as much as I would love to say I'm the super mom, my husband is the super dad,
Super
and
dad.
he's a stay-at-home dad. Okay, so I work and he handles the home, eloquently. He is a way better parent than I am. And we make that work, and there's other challenges to that, you know, and we've had to hammer at that in our marriage to make that, successful for us. It's not for everybody, um, but we are a team,
And you said
and
you've been married for how many years was it now?
12 years,
12
13 years,
years.
13 years
13.
coming up.
Got it. Got it.
Mhm. Yeah. So, yeah. So that's how we do that, and they give me a lot of leeway, but I do, like, I won't work more than 50 hours in a week, for example. I think you're less productive over 50 than you would be at at 50, you know? There's caveats to that. If you're just starting and you're literally wearing every single hat in your business, yeah, there's gonna be times that you have to work more than 50 hours a week. I'm at a place in my life where I don't have to anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you're right. It's times and seasons, right? Like in the
Mhm,
beginning, like while you can get that work out there, put those systems in place, do what you have to make it work, and then that should not be what it looks like. It's the marathon is not a sprint the whole time, certainly.
mhm,
I like that.
correct.
I was always trying to tell that to when I started in banking early in my career. I was always telling them like 60-hour work week. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Diminishing returns. Remember that concept?
Yes,
It's
diminishing
like
returns.
once I'm hitting like 10, 11 hours, I'm kind of getting a bit like, okay.
Mhm.
I like that.
Yeah.
Finally, like looking 3 to 5 years ahead, like what's your vision for Elite roofing and solar?
Yeah, 3 to 5 years ahead. So we've been developing this company called the Roofing Academy, and we, consult and bring up other roofing companies. What we found is that most people that start a roofing company was either a really good roofer or a really good sales guy. And so neither of which are really great business owners. So we're just trying to level up the field a little bit there
On
and
the
show people how to
operations
run
side
businesses. Yeah, operation and finance
and
and
finance.
finance. I would venture to say that probably 50% of roofing owners don't know how to read a P&L or a balance sheet.
I
It's probably higher.
just put up another roof.
Yeah, just put up another roof.
To
Yeah,
solve all our
I know my
problems, put
GP.
up another roof.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This one will make us this much money.
So sorry, the
Yeah.
roofing academy, is that like part of Elite Roofing and Solar or just totally separate and it's like, hey, this is just another revenue stream in a holding company or
Mm-mm, no, they are separate entities.
got it.
Separate entities for sure. Randy and I spend about half of our time inside of the academy and half of our time at Elite. So we've really built Elite to sustain itself. It does run I live in Florida and the company is in Colorado. Um, and so we like the company where it's at. We have found a sweet spot there where profitability is healthy. The amount of staff we have is all manageable. And so we really are trying to grow this academy right now. We see an opportunity to there's so much fulfillment in sitting in front of a leader and teaching them something that they didn't know before and watching that light bulb come on. It's like I use the analogy of a keyboard shortcut. I love keyboard shortcuts. But have you ever like sat next to somebody and showed them a quick keyboard shortcut and their eyes like light up and they're like, "You're gonna save me
Like,
so much time."
yes,
Yeah, that's what I want to do in my consulting. Like, I want to be your keyboard shortcut.
I
How
love
do I
that.
get from A to Z without having to hit all the letters in between? So that I see in the next 3 to 5 years, really being able to grow that and really being able to make a bigger impact in the industry as opposed to just the individual entity.
Yeah, I like that. No, that's such a it seems like a natural thing for you to pivot to as well. Not necessarily a full pivot, but to work on as well simultaneously because you've got your foot obviously in the operations of moving an actual operating company forward with it and now showing other people how to do that too, where you can proverbially peek under the hood or look under the roof, I guess is maybe even a better way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. Very good. Well, I have really enjoyed our time together, Bree. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to um, let others know how to find you if they're interested in contacting you.
Yeah. And so the you guys can find me Brie Reis on Instagram. My email for the Roofing Academy is Brie at theroofingacademy.com. So that one's really simple. I don't really use LinkedIn, so don't judge me there. I know I should. I will not respond to your LinkedIn messages.
Nice.
Um, so probably just those two areas.
Perfect. Well, thanks again for joining us, and we'll look forward to talking to you later. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.